Good afternoon. This is Kavipriya, Assistant Professor, EC Department. I am going to discuss about the topic UPS, Uninterrupted Power Supply. So under this topic, I am going to discuss about the introduction to UPS and types of UPS and finally about the applications of the UPS. So first, we can see what is this uninterrupted power supply. UPS is nothing but it is used to provide the backup for electrical power. It is used to store the electrical power and provide the stored electrical power to the loads whenever there is an interruption in the main power. So it requires batteries and supercapacitors to store the electrical energy, and during the main power supply, during the interruption in the main power supply, those stored electrical energy will be supplied to the loads. And next we're going to discuss about the parts of the UPS. So it has a battery, rectifier, inverter, and finally the switch. So what is the purpose of the battery? So through the battery, the electrical energy is being stored, and whenever there is an interruption in the main power, the whatever energy that is stored in the battery will be supplied to the load. So, and next is a rectifier. So rectifier is one which converts the AC to DC. The converted DC is being stored in the battery. And inverter is one which gets the output from the battery, which is nothing but DC, and it convert it back to the AC and it will supply it to the load. And next we have a switch. Switch is one which transfers a load between the utility to the inverter. Next is a primary function of a UPS. So the main function is to provide a power backup. So whenever there is a interruption in the main power, whatever the power that is stored in the UPS, whatever that is stored in the battery will be supplied to the load. So for this purposes, the components are used such as rectifier, inverter are being used. So rectifier is one which converts the AC to DC, and the DC power is stored in the battery. So whenever there is an interruption in the main power, the whatever electrical energy that is stored in the DC form in battery will be converted to the AC using the inverter, and it will be supplied to the load. This is the process that occurs in the UPS. And we're going to discuss about the types of UPS. There are three types of UPS. Here are offline, online, and line interactive. Offline is a very simple form of UPS. It doesn't have any extra features and all. It will be having a basic features, and it has a rectifier, it has a battery, it has an inverter, and it has a filter, and it has a switches. So if there is no interruption in the main power supply, whatever supply that is available will be transferred to the load. So here the main power will be transferred to the load, as well as it will be converted to the DC, and it will be stored in the battery. So whenever there is an interruption in the main power, the whatever DC that is stored in the battery will be converted to AC using the inverter, and the power will be supplied back to the load. So the inverter will becomes active whenever there is a interruption in the main power. And next is a offline UPS. The offline UPS will be having extra block called as an static bypass, and will be having a double conversion over here. So we also call it as a double conversion method. The first thing is that the main power will be converted to DC, and it will be stored to the battery, and it will be converted to AC, and it will be supplied to the load. So whenever there is an interruption in the main power, the rectifier will becomes inactive. Whatever the DC that is available in the battery will be converted to AC, and it will be supplied to the load. If there is any issue in this UPS part, then the static bypass will becomes active, so that the main power will be supplied directly to the load. Next is a line interactive UPS. In case of a line interactive UPS, will be having a static switch, will be having a static bypass, and will be having a bidirectional converter and battery. So until the main supply functions properly, whatever supply available will be converted to the DC, and it will be stored in the battery, and it will be directly supplied to the load. If suppose if there is any interruption in the main power supply, whatever DC that is available in the battery through bidirectional converter. So it has both rectifier and the inverter. So the inverter in the bidirectional converter will be converting back to the AC and it will be supplying it to the load. If there is any error in the lower part, then the static bypass will becomes active. So the main power will be directly supplied to the load without the intervention of the components that is lies below. So next is the applications of the UPS. So UPS is one which is almost used in all electrical and electronic systems. It is used in the computer data centers. It is used in the industrial control and monitoring systems. It is used in automation. It is used in telecommunication systems. It is used in almost hospitals, banks, insurance offices and any commercial applications for the power backup. It is used in the houses also. So that's all about the UPS. And next is the assessment question. SMPS is used for obtaining the controlled DC power supply. And the statement which is incorrect is that SMPS has a very low input ripple. Alternator is used in the rotating type UPS system to supply the main power. So that's all about the UPS. We have discussed about the introduction to the UPS and have discussed about the three types of UPS: online, offline and line interactive UPS. And finally we have discussed about the applications of the UPS. Thank you.